So once again, weeaboo loser, sexless pieces of shit, have a problem with trans people existing. What's new, right? So this article was written by Sankaku Complex once again, and this time they're mad about the Tokyo Trans March going on in Japan, and I believe they're gonna frame this as like a Western plague or whatever. Like Westerners are infecting our pure, puritanical, wonderful, uh, uh, conservative trad life with 12-year-old wives and infecting it with trans people existing. Oh, how dare they? So, let's read the article, shall we? Oh boy. The gender ideology pushing degenerates of the West seem... First sentence, wow. Didn't even take that much. Anyway, the gender ideology pushing degenerates of the West seem to be infecting Japan on a larger scale, as the latest 2022 edition of the Tokyo Trans March was allegedly 3 times larger than last year, a fact that hopefully won't serve as an ill omen for the country. Alright, so clearly they again, their last bastion of conservative trad values is Japan, which is very puritanical about LGBT rights. When it comes to those types of things, they're very anti-LGBT and also pretty much xenophobic, which is, you know, a lot of racism, which anime fans like this love. They love racism and homophobia. It's their pastime. So they believe that since LGBT rights is being you know, becoming more prevalent in the West, they see that now that in more conservative leaning areas, once you start to see movements rising there, it is to them that means fucking degeneracy. Western degeneracy is infecting their final stand of conservative values. What they don't seem to realize is trans people and just gay people in general have existed for fucking years. When you look at the Greeks, like it's one of my favorite examples, how promiscuous they were. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of gay sex going on in there. And I believe there was it's a French trans person. The word transgender didn't really exist like way back then, but what we define as transgender now, this person fits that category because they were like a French spy. They went somewhere, I forgot where it was specifically, and during their work, they basically cross-dressed as a woman. He cross-dressed as a woman, and then once he went back home after the job was pretty much complete, then they continued to live as a woman pretty much for the rest of their life. Pretty much. This is a common story for trans people. Like, a lot of trans people don't realize that they're trans up until like later on in their lives, and then they take on a whole new identity. You know, this is one of the many aspects of being trans. And it's not even getting into the fact that there were explicit examples of trans people existing even in the 50s when it was illegal to be transgender, like via like cross-dressing laws. Like that shit was basically illegal. Cross-dressing was illegal back in the 50s in America, and you see a lot of trans people like existing even during that time. Hell, they even found gay people in Nazi Germany. You're telling me that that people were choosing to be gay when it was when it would lead to a death sentence? The reason I'm even like bothering to discuss this is because these people seem to think that being queer of any kind is just like It's not because you just are queer, it's because you were convinced to be queer. You just decided to be queer because you wanted to be a degenerate. And someone else convinced you to be queer, or whatever. They think it's always going to be like a nurtured thing rather than that's just who you are. Because they want to delegitimize your existence. The only reason you're gay or trans is because it's not that because you are, it's because somebody made you that way, and that's gross and disgusting. And don't worry, we can fix that via conversion therapy. I don't know if this be about for conversion therapy. I'm just speaking broadly about how homophobia and transphobia works in bigots' heads. So moving on, the group seems to possess usual Western level degree of ignorance, as those participating in the march were doing so for trans rights, despite the fact that Japanese people have had such rights since 2003 with the Gender Identity Act. I don't think they seem to understand that, Actually, you know what? I'm gonna look up what this Gender Identity Act is. Alright, so, I checked the law that they were referring to. It's not good. This is the opposite. This is actually pretty authoritarian. This is not giving trans people rights. This is forcing trans people to have to get gender reassignment surgery in order to legally change their gender. This has nothing to do with giving trans people rights. This is just saying we will only validate your gender identity if you meet our rigid gender binary standards. None of this is giving rights. This is actually taking away rights. This is pretty damn authoritarian. This makes no sense. This doesn't make any sense. So I got my shit mixed up. What I originally looked at earlier was a follow-up of this law. The one that they were referencing, the law from 2003, this whole gender identity law. This is nowhere near enough, to be honest. These are actually very strict, because what it does is it allows you to transition, but under very strict circumstances. Post recording version, like editing version of Twisty here. It appears I've overcorrected myself. Upon further inspection of the bill, your gender identity will not be legally recognized unless you meet those certain standards, including getting bottom surgery. I was incorrect in stating that getting bottom surgery is gatekept behind those behind that long list of extra shit that you need to have, you know, in order to like have your gender identity recognized legally. I completely misread it. I completely misinterpreted what I was reading. Reading comprehension is bad on my part. You know, you can blame ADHD on that or not or whatever. But and the funny thing is, I kind of skimmed over the last part because it did say that you really, at the bottom there, you did actually need to have sexual reassignment surgery in order to have your gender legally changed. But overall, regardless regardless of what it is, it doesn't matter, because in both scenarios, in the wrong one that I laid out and the correct one, which is actually appears to be the case, they both are incredibly invasive and authoritarian. They just are all authoritarian. It's just that's just what it is. But yeah, I just needed to correct myself. I don't want to put out misinformation and, you know, and people start getting mad at me like, yo, you read that wrong, you dumbass! And I'll be like, ah, shit, I fucked up. God damn it. There you go. Now you know. Let's continue on with the video. And these circumstances are really fucking bad. They make no sense whatsoever. So, like, essentially what it's saying is, in order to qualify to like socially transition and medically transition, you have to be 20 years of age, you have to be not married, you have to not have children who are like underage, and you have to have like reproductive glands or whatever that don't function, that have like literally just lost function forever. And this one I did not look at. Has a body which appears to have parts that resemble genital organs of those of the opposite gender. What? A person who makes a request has referred to in the preceding paragraph must submit a medical certificate issued by a physician which contains particulars specified by ordinance of the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, such as results of the diagnosis referred to in the preceding article and the progress is and results of treatment with regards to the person of the gender identity disorder referred to in said paragraph. Yeah, but no, no, trans people have their rights. To them, I'm gonna tell you right now, to transphobes, this is too much. Like giving them even like giving trans people like even like the slightest bit of rights, just like just a tiny little bit of rights with all these strict little with all of these fucking extremely strict qualifications that make no sense whatsoever. To them, this is too much. Way too much. And that's enough for them to freak out about this. They think this is enough for trans people to have their rights. And they wish it was less than this. I promise you, they wish it was much less than this. Which is why they're even complaining about it in the first place. So with this shit out of the way, okay, let's continue with their article, shall we? The march was held by a group known as Waifu Party, which seems to create a safe space for people of all ages, races, sexes, and the like, and are known to spread sayings often seen in the West, such as "No LGB without the T." Based. Can't have a queer movement without trans people. Sorry. A short video on the march. Let's look at this super cool video. Look at all of them. Look at all the fucking all of the allies, all the trans. Oh, this is so good. I love this. This is actually really good. I'm glad that they're actually like. I wonder how long Pride has been going on in Japan. Because it's really good to see. In like honestly. And like I said earlier, these people believe that like that you're not just born trans, or you just aren't trans. You have to be made into being trans. To them, this is just Western degeneracy. But trans people have existed in Japan for, like I said earlier, they existed in America for years, even when it was illegal. I guarantee you they also existed in Japan as well. There are trans people in all cultures everywhere. There are trans people in Saudi Arabia. There are trans people in like everywhere in the Middle East. There are trans people in Africa. Yeah, I've actually like looked at an article of a transgender woman that lives in Africa. It's really interesting. I urge you to look up look up any like historical figures of trans people that existed in Japan. I guarantee you find at least one or two somewhere, one or two prominent figures in Japan. Look at this shit. How can you get mad at this? Come on now. Look at the trans color. I have a newfound love for the non-binary colors too. That's pretty cool. I have a lot of newfound respect for the a newfound love for the trans colors. They're actually really pretty. Before I thought it were ugly. And it had nothing to do with me being transphobic. I don't know. I just didn't really like the colors very much. But I liked the lesbian pride colors a lot better. That was back when I was like somewhat homophobic. But you know. Based Japan. Based fucking Japanese pride right here. According to a brief interview, this is the second ever Tokyo Trans March event, and there will be about 1,000 participants, which is said to be 3 times the amount from the previous year. That is cool. That's fucking cool. They're actually, because like Japan is far more conservative than America. Like coming out like this is way harder socially than it is in America. Like, I know, like, transphobia in America is, like, on the rise. Like, it's becoming way more rampant because, and that's always, and that's because they're retaliating against the broad trans acceptance that is happening in America. So, like, America is fighting all, as hard as they can, going as hard as they possibly can. The American right is going as hard as they can to make being trans illegal. But that's a whole other different topic. But even with all of that, I guarantee you it is far harder to be openly trans or even gay in Japan. So like I really do respect this that they're finally like having their own pride. This is really good to me. And the whole pride idea, I believe that the pride like event thing, like the flag colors, I believe that is inspired by American. I don't know who came up with the pride colors actually. I believe Americans came up with it. This aspect I will say is American influenced. I have to look more into like where the colors and the whole. I know pride originated in America, but like yeah, the whole thing did originate, like it is inspired by America. Like I'm pretty sure that's what you call it, what the pride colors originated from. I'm just going in circles. You know what I'm talking about here. You get the gist of what I mean. Like the movement on its own, I would say is inspired by Americans. But being gay or trans in and of itself, that's just those are immutable characteristics. All right, so those taking part in the march held signs with statements such as "Trans rights are human rights," "Trans is beautiful," based, and "Say no to trans hate." Once again, statements often used in the West, and some even written on signs in English. Okay. English is a secondary language. English. You have to learn English in Japan, I believe. Like, what? What does that have to do with anything? Whatever. Signs such as "Say no to trans hate" are considered difficult by some to comply with. The transgender individuals are usually the ones criticizing all forms of entertainment as offensive and demanding censorship or demanding all of said media to contain transgender people simply for the sake of hate, simply for the sake of having them. Okay. There's a lot to unpack on this paragraph. Because I know people like this will always interpret as just like wanting to see ourselves in media as like authoritarian, demanding people include us, which is not really what's going on. Like, all we're asking is that they be more inclusive to trans people because trans people exist. But we're literally not forcing anyone to do anything, really. Not really. Like, they're not gonna get that much social backlash for not including trans people. Like, trans people enjoy media that don't have trans people in it, that don't have trans people, like, at all. And we will continue to enjoy media that doesn't have trans people in it at all. Like, it would just be nice to have us more included in media, and the fact that we're getting that now is a good thing. It's not that we forced anybody to do it, it's because it's that artists are now more aware of our existence, and a lot of those artists are also queer themselves, so they have no problem with including LGBT people in their media. Like, my point, like, a lot of trans people love Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad doesn't have any trans people as far as I'm aware. Like, we can enjoy media that doesn't have trans. We're not gonna get mad at Breaking Bad for having no trans people in it. Or Better Call Saul. Like, there's a lot of shit that we consume that has no trans people in it. Like, these people get mad at something that doesn't exist. Like, they seem to believe that we're being authoritarian. All we're doing, essentially, like, broadly, we're just asking nicely to include us in shit. That's it. And if you have a problem with just including us in shit, then you can't say you're not a bigot, because then that means to you, having trans people included in anything is just inherently wrong and disgusting and gross. Keep it away from me. Such actions from transgender people is the reason why many believe such demonstrations as this march are purely about identitarian supremacy and not about equality, which they already had for decades. They don't have this. Not even for decades. They're more conservative than us. Japan is more conservative than America. This is just pure cope. You see, if you're somebody who just already hates trans people, then you're gonna see, like, then anything that, like, gives us equality is going to seem like authoritarianism to you. If you already just don't want to see trans people exist, seeing trans people exist is just authoritarianism to you. That's literally all it is. Come on, what am I supposed to say here? What's won't someone please think of the poor authoritarian government that wants to snuff out LGBT right? Won't somebody think of the transphobes? No. This is just pure cope on their part. Now, with all that being said, let's look at the comments, which is always the most cringy part of these articles. Fair warning before I continue, there's going to be a lot of just like blatant transphobia and a lot of, probably a lot of transphobic slurs in here. So yeah, be aware of that before I go further. When will the world start treating this like a dangerous spreading plague? So sorry that trans people exist and we're being open about it. When just being gay isn't enough anymore. Yeah, or if being gay was still illegal now, you would have a problem with it being illegal at the dawn of... You would, like, be really having a huge issue at the dawn of gay rights existing. You realize that the powers that be are the ones that made this happen? You don't really think that some spastics on Twitter made it this far on their own? I was about to say that this was the Jewish question, but this guy helped me out with that, huh? They are the same as Gypsy. Okay. Wow. I haven't seen... When was the last time I've seen anti-Gypsy bigotry? Jesus Christ, these people. Are you sure about that? Men posing as women have been entering women's... Alright. These degenerates are also allowed to teach an element... Somebody follows Slip to TikTok. In America, women recently had the chance to reject the stupidity on full force. The majority of women don't. I believe statistically in America, women are... percentage-wise, are far more accepting of trans people than men. Sorry, not sorry. The media even told leftist feminazis to... God, it's been a... These people are stuck in 2016. Also, I have never heard this word in a long-ass time, dude. Oh, I even used this word back when I was transphobic. Oh my god! Unfortunately, women are too dependent on the state to vote against this. Huh? They'd rather murder than their own children than give up their free... This person is seeped in bigotry, bro. Anti-abortion. Red wave. Oh, he was hoping for the red wave, wasn't he? Get wrecked, lunatic Yoshi. Look, pal, the rights aren't even going after this shit as hard as they should. Huh? Are you sure? Pretending that voting Republican will magically fix this is fucking Alright, so these guys are advocating for, like, violence. Jesus. What else is the alternative here? Yeah, weebs are no exception to this shit. They're all part of this whole like retarded fucking lives of TikTok Shire Raychick bullshit. They're all in this space. They're just in the anime section. These people are all the same. Like, if he wasn't a basement-dwelling fucking piece of shit, pasty-ass motherfucker, like, sucking his own thumb and sucking from his mom's tits every night, he would be out there, like, he'd probably be one of those same people that would do the fucking, like, anti-LGBT shootings. Like, this person, where the fuck is he again? Is this the same person? Oh yeah, this person who's like electoralism. The alternative is violence. The alternative is always violence. It's the same with my side too, the left. I mean, if lefties are anti-electoralism, the only alternative is violence. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. The entire march should be led to a mental okay. Oh my god, I knew Japan was being affected by the West because of what's happening to Square Enix and Capcom, but I never knew it was this. Okay. Jesus Christ. These guys just fundamentally just can't accept that gay and trans people just simply exist. They'll only accept the existence of trans people if they justify it by this fake ass idea that is like imposed upon them by social contagion. If they machine gun every... I'm not finishing this one. Quote, safe space. What does that even mean? Do they even understand what that is? I guess they wish to have mass orgies publicly and not get judged for acting like... What is he talking about? If anything is a safe space, is this. This is what a real safe space looks like. That's not it. They want a space where they can reliably be called he and she instead of she and he. You know pronouns don't exist, right? Like, there's no such thing as pronouns. None. You guys know what pronouns are? They're words. You know there are other languages that have like 4 pronouns? Or languages that have like 0 gendered pronouns whatsoever? I believe Mandarin Chinese does not have gendered pronouns. And I believe Arabic is one of those languages that doesn't have gender pronouns as well. There are other languages, I think 4 is the max. There's probably languages that have more than 4 pronouns. I don't know. Words are weird. Language is weird. This guy is a piece of shit. He doesn't understand linguistics at all. Do not give in to the disease of the West. Again, their final bastion of conservative values is Japan. This is why they gravitate towards anime and jerk off to lolly porn. Sorry folks, you're not safe from me. I'm here to talk shit about you and you're just gonna have to deal with it. Your safe space has been shattered. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment, or whatever. I don't care. Hate comments. I like hate comments. If you have no thoughts, just post no thoughts in the comment section. I don't care. Anyway, that all being said and done, I will catch y'all later. Peace.
Crazy Bruce's Liquors, we've got the bargains for you. Woo, woo, woo. Crazy Bruce's Liquors, selection and quality too. Woo, woo, woo. Come down and see us, you'll think we're too good to be true. Woo, woo, woo. Zinfandel and Cabernet, Red Merlot and Chardonnay, Crazy Bruce's Liquor Store. Woo, woo.